a steady stream of news all the time. Galileo, the world is wanting to know the answer to this one question. What are you doing here?
Well, I hate to speculate on that particular aspect of the whole thing. It's a rather daunting explanation.
Was it a rift in the space-time continuum?
What?
That's what they're saying.
Now, who said that? Was that scoundrel Stephen Hawking?
It's just a theory that people have been throwing around. You see a little bit about...
Well, I'd have to say that, you know, it's really a common interest in my past that's really brought me about here. And I must say that I'm quite excited to be bringing back what you would call the, in nowadays terms, you would call the hype concerning my career as an astronomer.
And you certainly have brought about the hype in a big way. We're seeing Galileo products all over the place. I must say you flooded the marketplace. The made-for-TV movie, the action figure, the breakfast cereal. Now we finally have your new sequel to The Starry Messenger, titled Twilight.
Ah, yes.
There are plans for others in the series, New Moon and Breaking Dawn. I must say all these sound like solid astronomy books, but I have no doubt they'll be great. But these titles, well, they sound so incredibly familiar.
Well, you know, most great things really do have an air of familiar about them now, don't they? Now, I have to say I'm quite pleased with this new series here.
Galileo. These books, they're already bestsellers.
Why, yes, and they're not even written yet. Isn't that spectacular?
Bestsellers by someone else.
Excuse me?
Stephanie Meyer. They're about vampires.
What is this about vampires and what?
And werewolves.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. No astronomy.
Quite a hit with teenage girls.
Now, there's no astronomy in any of these books. I mean, how could there be a book called New Moon without any astronomy? This is ridiculous.
Sorry.
Yes, on to more positive things. Have you seen this? Have you seen this new telescope that I've made here? It can magnify man's vision 11 times.
That just doesn't sound terribly strong to me.
It's 11 times is incredible. I tell you, I don't think you have anything that can rival this. What is this bubble telescope you have? Humble, whatever it is? It's floating out in space. Whatever. You haven't seen my infomercial yet. My telescopes were quite the sensation in my day. You haven't lived until you've gazed down the barrel of one of my finest astronomical instruments.
Okay, Galileo, on a different topic, what do you think about NASA's decision to scrap the whole space shuttle program? You're always such an advocate for the exploration of space that you must be floored by this decision.
What is this? NASA? What is this? NASA?
The space shuttle program?
Space shovel?
Shuttle.
Like a shovel.
Shuttle. A ship to send men into space, Galileo?
Why would they want to do that?
They scrapped further shuttle plans, mainly for economic reasons, but a lot of people felt...
No, but why would they send men into space? You see, it makes no sense, really. There's nothing of reachable importance. I mean, it would be like... Let's say it would be like sailing a ship into the middle of the sea just to see what the other half of the sea looked like.
The space shuttle program has had many great achievements, such as the moon landings in 1969.
Wait a minute, the moon landed? Here?
No, we landed on the moon in 1969.
Was it bumpy? Now, you see, in my day, everyone thought that the moon was perfectly smooth. You see, we were under the thinking of Aristotle, and he believed that all heavenly bodies were perfectly smooth, like giant spheres floating in space. Now, was it bumpy?
Bumpy wouldn't even begin to describe it.
Well, that's right. It's full of craters and valleys and mountains and all types of terrain, right?
Yes.
Yes, it was bumpy. I told you all it was bumpy.
You mentioned Aristotle. It seemed to give you great pleasure to prove him wrong. On a number of occasions, I must say. You seem to enjoy, quote, busting his myths.
More like busting his chops, actually. You know, see, Aristotle in his day was completely infallible. The gold standard, but his ideas had came and went. The church really failed for that whole earth is the center of the universe thing. You see, it put man, I mean, the greatest thing since sliced bread, right in the center of all of God's universe, and everything spun around it, and well, if anybody's ever told you that the world doesn't revolve around you, that's basically what I was telling the church, and they responded much like anybody else would when told such news.
When the Pope told you you could write about the sun-centered concept, it could be said that you bit the hand that fed you.
Well, yes, I mean, it can't possibly make sense that I could write about both of these ideas equally, as he proposed to me, because one must truly be false and one must be true. And, well, I got into a bit of trouble with that, for I represented them from the perspective of a fool named Simplico, and I tell you, they didn't really respond to that quite favorably.
And there was an inquisition, and the humbling experience of standing on trial.
Why, yes, quite humbling indeed. I had to say that the earth doesn't move around the sun, while standing on the very earth that is clearly going about the sun. It was just ludicrous.
And that famous line, that quote.
Oh, you were asking if I said it, huh? And yet it moves. You see, yes, I said it. Of course I did. All right, there you go. Tabloid's greatest mystery of the greatest line in all of astronomy or church history all finally uncovered there. Yes, I said it. And you know what? It does move. Does it move? Yes. It spins around like a whirling dervish around like on a horse on a merry-go-round. All around the sun right there.
What are you doing? What are you...
What was that written there? Is that something about daughters on there? What is that question there?
Yes, one of the recent topics of discussion in your life is the book about your daughter.
My daughter? No, we don't talk about we don't really discuss that particularly. I thought I told them not to put anything.
The book is titled Galileos Daughter. It's by Dava Sobel.
Well, is it any good?
Oh, yes, actually, it's very good. It's based on letters to you from her.
Have you been reading my mail? Has all the world been reading my mail all of this time?
It tells about your illegitimate daughter, Sister Maria Celeste, and her life as a nun.
Legitimate. I've had quite enough. Get this thing off of me. Quite enough here.
Well, there you have it. Galileo, world famous astronomer,
and yet it moves. It moves. And yet it moves.
It moves, Galileo. It moves. I'm Gwen Sparkles, and this has been Straight A.